wipe your tears right now. Frenchie is not dead. If you think that scene in episode 7 was the end, you do not know Serge at all. While everyone else is crying, DramaCrypt spotted a secret injection and a mystery code whispered before his last breath. And that guest who showed up out of nowhere? She is the only lifeline that matters. Today, we are going to prove to you, with actual genetic logic, why Frenchie is still alive, and why his return in the finale is the one twist that will shatter Homelander's immortality forever. Forget the emotions and focus on the science. The truth behind Blood and Bone starts right now. So did we actually lose French for good? Episode 7 of Season 5 ended with that brutal scene. Serge slowly dying in Kimiko's arms after deliberately exposing himself to lethal radiation just to fool Homelander. But here's the thing. We are talking about Serge, the chemistry genius who synthesizes compounds out of nothing. The man who reverse-engineered compound V derivatives in a dirty apartment kitchen. You really think this guy walks into a death room without an exit strategy? The theory we are breaking down today is that French was not sacrificing himself. French was executing the most dangerous medical bluff in the show's entire history. Here's the evidence. Right before he enters that room, French is preparing uranium injections for Kimiko. And nobody, not the camera, not the other characters, nobody checks what he injects into himself. A chemist with his IQ does not walk into a radiation chamber without some form of biological shielding. Whether that is a temporary protection serum, a microdose of V1 to trigger cellular resistance, or something he cooked up specifically to slow radioactive tissue breakdown, French would have had something. The man planned 17 steps ahead. This was not a suicide run. This was a controlled demolition with a way out. But the injection is not everything. Kimiko's performance held a secret that is even stranger. Let us look at that right now. Now pay very close attention to Kimiko's reaction in that final scene. Because something is off. This is the same woman who completely unravels when French gets a scratch. We have seen her break down over minor injuries to him. But in the death scene, she is calm. Devastated, yes, but controlled. Quiet in a way that does not match who she is. And that is not a writing mistake. That is a signal. The plan needed one thing above everything else. Homelander had to believe it. He had to see a real sacrifice, feel the certainty that French was finished, and walk away satisfied. So French performed his death. He used every ounce of his theatrical instinct to sell it. And Kimiko, who knows him better than anyone alive, held the scene together while Homelander stood there watching. And then there is the end credits music. Dream a little dream of me. Everyone heard that as a farewell. But think about the title. Dream a little dream. What if that song was not a eulogy? What if the show was telling us, right to our faces, that what we just watched was a dream, an illusion that French designed specifically to get himself and Kimiko off Homelander's radar before the finale hits? The phrase from the first that he whispers at the end? We will get to exactly what that means, because it is not a goodbye, it is an order. Why do Marie Moreau and Jordan Lee show up in this specific episode? The easy answer is that they are there to help Annie and MM at Vought Studios. But easy answers are not what we do here. At DramaCrypt, we are telling you that Marie Moreau is French's only real chance at survival. Marie has the ability to control blood at a cellular level. And what does severe radiation poisoning do? It destroys white blood cells. It destroys red blood cells. It shuts down the body's ability to regenerate from the inside out. The theory is this. Kimiko knows where Marie is. She has always been the one maintaining connections the rest of the boys do not bother with. So after that room, after Homelander leaves convinced that French is gone, Kimiko takes his body, with whatever faint pulse might still be there, directly to Marie Moreau. And Marie does what no hospital on Earth could do. She performs an immediate blood purge, pulling radioactive toxins out of his system before they finish destroying his vital organs. The Gen V characters did not show up in Episode 7 for a cameo. They were placed there deliberately, as setup, so that when the rescue happens, it doesn't come out of nowhere. The groundwork is already laid. We just were not looking at it the right way. Remember who spent the most time studying Soldier Boy's case? French. He was the one researching how the Russians managed to contain someone with superhuman abilities using radiation-based genetic manipulation. French knows exactly what high-dose radiation does to a body. He has studied it more than anyone in that entire team. So the idea that he would casually walk into a lethal radiation field and just die from the one thing he knows most about, that doesn't track. In the confrontation scene with Homelander, look at French's body language. He is confident, not resigned, not peaceful in a suicidal way, genuinely confident while standing in front of the most powerful being on the planet. That confidence comes from somewhere. It comes from certainty that his body is prepared for what is about to happen. Maybe it is a modified version of Edgar's serum. Maybe it is something extracted from Butcher's virus research. Maybe it is a compound nobody has even identified yet. But a man who studied genetic radiation resistance and then chooses radiation as his method of self-sacrifice, that man has done the math. He knows something we don't. And Homelander, in his panic over losing his own power, never stopped to consider that French might have just turned himself into a living trap. Bait that walks, breathes, and comes back swinging in the finale. Everyone heard from the first as an emotional goodbye, a poetic line pulled from the comics, the kind of thing you say when you are truly done. Compilations, tribute videos, the whole thing. But let us think about it differently. French is a man who communicates in systems, in codes, in procedures, and from the first, when you strip away the sentiment, could be the exact activation phrase he and Kimiko agreed on. A signal that means the plan is in motion, go back to the beginning, find what he left for you there. French is the one who taught Kimiko that the starting point is always the key. In chemistry, in field operations, in every plan they have ever run together, you always return to step one when everything else falls apart. From the first might mean go back to the first serum he synthesized. Go back to the first location where he stored his emergency supplies. Go back to whatever he prepared before any of this started. And here is the final piece of that puzzle. In the source material, the comics, French and Kimiko are killed together by Butcher's bomb. The show completely rewrote that. It changed the cause, the context, and the emotional meaning of his exit. That rewrite is not random. When the show goes out of its way to change how a character dies, it usually means they are not done with him yet. The door is open, and from the first might be the key that opens it. If French comes back in the finale, everything shifts. Right now, Butcher has become the threat. He is willing to release a virus that kills every superhuman on the planet. Collateral damage be damned. Homelander has injected himself with enough V1 to potentially make him unkillable in the conventional sense. The situation is as locked as it has ever been. But French changes that equation entirely. He is the only person with direct access to Kimiko's evolved, radiation-resistant blood. Blood that has been through things no other sample in existence has been through. He is the only person who understands Moreau's ability well enough to weaponize it strategically rather than just offensively. And, critically, he is the only one with the scientific knowledge to guide Moreau toward extracting or neutralizing the V1 in Homelander's system without simply killing him, which is exactly the line the team cannot cross without becoming what they are fighting. French coming back is not fan service. It is not the show going soft. It is a structural necessity. Because right now, nobody on the board can simultaneously stop Butcher's genocide and neutralize an immortal Homelander. Nobody except the man everyone already buried. DramaCrypt, we are 1 week out from something historic. If this theory holds, we are about to witness the greatest return in television history on May 20th. So tell me in the comments, do you think French is genuinely too smart to die from radiation, of all things? Or did the show make the decision to end his story for real, to push the ending into pure darkness? drop your best prediction below. And hit that notification bell, because the second Blood and Bone drops, we will be the first ones breaking it down, scene by scene, line by line, shot by shot. This is DramaCrypt. We do not just watch the show, we live inside it. Peace.